Hi dear Cancerians, it's Core from Core Astrology, and today I will be chatting with you for anyone who's a Cancer Sun, Moon or Rising sign about two big events that are coming up. The one is the Lunar Eclipse on the 10th of January. It is the 11th January in Sydney and also in Bali, but for the rest of the world on the 10th of January about 21 minutes past 9 in Johannesburg PM, London 20 minutes past 7 p.m. In New York it is at 21 minutes past 2 p.m. and we also have LA at 21 minutes past 11 a.m. on the 10th of January. This is the one thing that I want to discuss with you and how it affects you. The other thing I want to discuss with you today is that great big Saturn-Pluto conjunction in the heavens, which only happens every hundreds or so of years. The last time it happened was 502 years ago in 1518 on the 5th of January, and prior to that it happened on the 22nd of December 1284, which is 736 years ago. So I'm feeling very humbled and touched to be doing a YouTube on this today, because it is truly a once-in-a-lifetime, profound, monumentous event happening on the 12th of January, and I'd like to discuss how this is going to affect you in your life as well. So firstly, I want to look back to the new moon on the 26th of December, which is a time where we set new intention. It's a time of potential, where we are generally better off in our yin, restful mode, listening to inspirations and downloads from the ether, guiding us to what our potential is for the next 2 weeks as the moon grows. And for you, dear Cancerians, this was in a place in your chart relating to relationships. So think back to the 26th of December, which is around about the 27th December in Australia and also in the East, in Bali and the Eastern countries. 26th December for the other countries, a day after Christmas. What about the relationships you're having with others, intimate relationships, marriage partners, business partners, best friends, is no longer serving you, that you want to let go of? And how is it that you want to move forward with less fear and anxiety within relationships, less insecurities? That could have been something that came to the forefront around the new moon eclipse last year, towards the end of last year. And since then, for the next 2 weeks, as the moon grows from being in a new moon phase to a full moon phase, and as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, so too becomes our awareness about the situation, and our emotions run really high. And when the moon becomes full and it's 180 degrees away, here's the sun, the earth's in the middle and the moon's on the other side, with this strong pull, on the earth, and we have the moon on the one side and the sun on the other side, and it's pulling really strong. We have our emotions run a little higher than normal. There's a sense of completion, this is all that I can take in terms of the relationships, and this is a point where I've been pushed just too far. And there's a sense of all the things that you are aspiring to, which are about being less anxious or less fearful in relationships, and having more intimacy and being closer in relationships, and daring to be in a relationship, daring to love somebody. But it could also be in relation to business partners. So there's not necessarily all that intimacy and love in terms of business partners, but there might be trust or nurturing, or a sense of responsibility and being reliable and being there for the long haul. Capricorn is about the long-lastingness of a relationship. And by the full moon eclipse on the 10th, there'll be a sense of either you'll be saying to somebody else, you're just not responsible enough, you're not mature enough, there's no mastery in how you live your life, and I want something more than that. So there could be a sense of frustration or arguments coming up, or quite the opposite, that you're starting to see that the partners or the people that you are with are becoming more disciplined and living by the rules and regulation and mastering themselves as a projection out into the world, something that you would enjoy. So keep that in mind as the full moon happens, and then also be aware that if there's something that you're not happy with in terms of your relationships, be mindful that the word lunatic comes from lunar and is based on the full moon, which is when the sun and moon's magnetic forces are pulling so strong on the globe, the earth in the middle, that we have really high tides and very low tides this side of the world, and high tides that side of the world. And because our brains are made up of 70-something% water, it also affects us emotionally, and we just become more yang and more sensitive than normal. So try and forgive yourself for things that you're not happy with in terms of your relationships. Forgive yourself for neglecting yourself and sacrificing yourself for relationships, and then having resentment because you're possibly disappointed. So the practice here on the full moon is forgiveness for self, and then also gratitude for how you've been interacting in relationships, where you find a sense of nurturing, where you can actually look after yourself and be good to your own physical body and stand true in your own authenticity. And people that bring out this goodness in you, or when you feel that way about yourself, you attract different people into your life. You can be grateful, make a lovely gratitude list for that as well. So shortly after that, the day after the full moon eclipse, and by the way, this new moon and this full moon happening in the eclipse season makes them just so much stronger, and it really allows this opportunity for you to grow in big leaps. It's an opportunity for a massive growth spurt, more so than the normal new and full moons. So the eclipses were last occurring in July. You might reflect back to what was happening in your relationships then in July. Now in December and January, with eclipse season again, there's a heightened awareness of the need for you to be able to nurture yourself and not have to sacrifice yourself to be in a relationship. So a day after this full moon eclipse, Uranus is going to go stationary. And when Uranus goes stationary in the sky, its symbolism becomes stronger. Uranus is where we feel a sense of breakthrough, freedom, a sense of awakening, a sense of independence, and innovation and forward thinking. And for you, Cancerians, this is happening in an area in your life that is related to your own personal hopes and dreams and wishes and goals. And Uranus being there is asking you to rattle and shake these up a little bit. It might feel disturbing and a little bit chaotic. However, there's this need to say that your dreams that you've been holding on to for the last however many years are now due for some change. There needs to be a bit of a sparkle and some excitement coming through. And it happens quite like lightning, very fast and unexpected. This is the energy of Uranus, fast and unexpected, and a lot of reliance on self. So you will find also that the friends that you have might be very different to what they were since before March this year, because March is when Uranus started going into Taurus, which is in this area in your life saying we need change and more innovative friends. Also groups and societies. If you were a member of the bowling club for all these years, with Uranus coming in, you might want to become a member of the skydiving club. There's just this sense of breaking free and doing something more exciting and liberating to yourself, and hanging out with friends and people who are also similar, more exciting, happy to have a bit of chaos, happy to have an attitude of awakening and breakthrough and innovation and forward thinking, let's say less conservative. So let these friends help you become aware of how you need to look after your own physical self and health, and how you need to feed yourself and nurture yourself and your emotional world and your own integrity and your persona, not at the expense of the relationships that you're having, but in light of the relationships that you are having. Also, what's helping you along the way is this blind faith in God and the universe's grace, in trusting that these changes of the new friends and this realization that you want to look after yourself and your physical body more, while combined and with when you are in relationships, as opposed to it being the sacrifice of I can't be the persona that I want to be, the nurturing person that I want to be because of my business relationships or because of my marriage relationships. No, this seriously wants to be shaken up. As a matter of fact, you're really going to feel this strongly because the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is happening in an area of your life which is all about relationships. And you might have found that through 2019, there were relationships that you were involved in that made you feel hollow inside, that were not true to your own authentic version of self, which is, as a Cancerian rising sun or moon, there is a deep need for you to nurture yourself. Nurture your physical body, eat the right food, be gentle with yourself, have emotional integrity. And any relationship in your life that you might have realized through the year of 2019 that robs you of any of these and robs you of your own integrity and of looking after yourself are not the right relationships to be in. So maybe there are contracts that you have with certain people in your life, be they business contracts or marriage contracts, that you might want to let go of because they're not serving this new you. And especially contracts made about 29 years ago for all the Cancerians, you might find now that the security that they've given you in the last 29 years is no longer true. You are no longer feeling emotionally secure in these relationships. And this is because in the last 29 years, these relationships have helped you grow and evolve to a point where you can actually nurture yourself, while before you felt that the relationship partner, the other, was nurturing you. And now you're ready to be with someone in a relationship, not because you feel that they need to nurture you or look after you or feed your soul, but because they are more of an equal that can mirror who you are, which is a person that in itself wants to master your own integrity of the emotional world. So what you want to attract going forward from the 12th of January, which is when the Saturn-Pluto conjunction comes to a head, and this is an expiration date for you to say, these relationships that make me feel anxious or insecure, but used to make me feel secure in the years gone, but not throughout 2019 when I've started to realize I'm not feeling that secure anymore in these relationships. There's a sense of, okay, now's the time to end this false lie of living a life in relationships with people where you can't be the authentic, fuller, more evolved version of yourself. You don't want to be like an empty shell in a relation with somebody. You want to be full. Your soul wants to feel like you're being true and authentic to yourself, and you are wiser now, so you need a different kind of relationship. Or if you are in a relationship, this relationship has to step up the mark. And the type of person who's really good for you in relationships going forward now is somebody who is very ambitious, willing to work hard, somebody who's reliable, somebody who's in it for the long haul, about a relationship of longevity. Fabulous time to get married after this date or around about these dates, because you're awakening this energy of someone who allows you to be in a partnership but still the best version of yourself. So somebody who's ambitious in their own right and honorable and conservative is really where you want to be, and anything that is lesser than that might disappear from your life over the next course of this year, as Saturn and Pluto are still very close together for the rest of 2020. So to keep you on track with your soul's journey and authentic in your own being will be this blind faith in the grace of God or the universe or the energy that comes from spirit. And for you traveling overseas, or possibly having contact with foreigners, or studying a spiritual practice, or doing something that's spiritual. Possibly even any higher studies that you're doing, or philosophies or belief systems that you're examining, by realizing that you are more of a spiritual being versus a material being, and that you need to, or that you want to, have a connection to the spirit world, to angels, to God, to something that allows you a space for imagination and dreams. This could be dancing, this could be music, this could be art. That would be the higher octave of working with these changes regarding relationships, and also this sudden new breakthrough in terms of the friends and the groups and societies that you hang out with that are coming into your life now. So dear Cancerians, I hope for you that this has helped. Thank you for watching my YouTube. If you like it, please push the like button and subscribe. And I send you blessings. Take care. Namaste. Goodbye.